Hello, hi, and welcome to Empathic Fire. I am your reader, Jay. These are going to be general messages for the sign of Gemini in mid-February 2021. What is going on, Gemini? I hope you guys are doing well. Let's see what these were. Two of Pentacles and the King of Pentacles. Some of you might have a decision to make about an Earth sign, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, but or just some decision in your family life or your business life. Feels very crucial. If that speaks to you at all, it would be a very crucial decision that you're facing regarding those areas of your lives or people that play very significant roles in those areas of your life, okay? But anyway, Gemini, welcome to your reading. Wherever you are in the world right now, I hope you're safe, happy, healthy, and secure. Take good care of yourselves and people that you know and love. And if you have the time, the energy, the effort, and the desire, I would encourage you to spread that goodness, spread that good juju out there towards people that maybe you don't know so well. The world could use it. It's just my general belief in how things work. But you don't have to agree with me, you know. We all make our own choices, right? Anyway, Gemini. No other announcements, no other things to say here, so let's get into it. Anything you want from me, it's in the description box below. Timestamps down there. Information on how to order a personal reading with me is down there. And if you want to follow me on Instagram, I gave you a handy dandy link that's down in the description box as well. And I promise that I'm going to start using my Instagram again to do actual interpretation of cards. I needed a break from doing that. But anyway. Enough about me. It's all about you guys. So let's find out what's going on. Let's get a story going for Gemini in mid-February 2021. What is the message? What are the stories for Gemini that we can talk about today for mid-February 2021? Please show me. Okay, Page of Pentacles. A lot of Pentacles energy coming out in the mid-month readings. Earth sign energy again. Fool. One more possibly, please, for Gemini and Judgment. Okay. All right, so again, Earth sign energy, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. Fool is, secondary major for Aquarius. There we go. You might be dealing with an Aquarius, or you don't have to be. And Judgment is secondary major for Scorpio. You could be dealing with a Scorpio, but again, you don't have to be with any of those signs. Okay. For some of you, this is on its face, just for a few of you, your kid is acting up. Just for a few of you. It's not for everybody. If you don't have kids, there you go. It's not your message. But for some of you, your child or someone that behaves like a child in your life might be acting a little bit out of turn, a little bit out of pocket, and you're kind of on the hook for that. You're kind of responsible for their actions. You're kind of getting blamed for their bad actions, or legit. If you went into a store, and this is the unfortunate, well, not unfortunate, it's just the way it is, I suppose. If you go into a store and your kid, much like this kid on the card, starts ripping things off the wall and throwing them to the floor and causes damage, and it doesn't have to be your kid, it could be anybody that you're responsible for, it's kind of like, well, who's going to pay for all that? Who's gonna pay for this damaged inventory? It's like, it becomes the burden of the parent or the person who's responsible for the child, right? I think that's how because they're juveniles and that's the rules. Those are the rules, those are the laws, right? So that's just for some of you. It's not the entire message for the majority of the people out here, okay? What is going on here though is not the best judgment on your part, on the part of someone else. There's bad behavior, there's bad action taken, bad investments. Like with this Page of Pentacles and this Fool energy, there may have been someone who overspent or who didn't spend wisely. There's somebody who's not really on top of their finances, because I think now, we're shifting. Thank you. We're shifting into a more adult space. So everybody that I'm talking about now, for the most part, you and the people that you're dealing with are over the age of 18 or whatever legal age it is in your country. All right. So everybody here is, for all intents and purposes, a responsible adult, allegedly, right? And someone out here, even though they're an adult and they're supposed to be making good decisions or expected to make good decisions, they're making not so great decisions. It could be because they've trusted someone that they shouldn't have trusted, or they're being too trusting in the situation overall. There's something about kind of rushing in, not looking at the fine print, not looking at the cost of something. So this could be like a purchase of something, and you like, okay, for an example, when any of us like first gets our first line of credit, some of us are really smart and we read the fine print. In my case and many other people's cases, I got my first credit card when I went to college, and I didn't understand or really read the fine print, and come to find out, oh, I have a really high interest rate, or APR, right? And I didn't know what that meant at the time, but I sure found out very soon. So it's like that. It's like somebody here has signed on to something or agreed to do something or experience something, and they didn't know what it would cost them. Literally, they didn't know financially what it would cost them. So this could be a purchase of a vehicle, purchase of a home, big ticket items, or you're purchasing something, or you're taking out a loan, but you don't understand how the interest is applied to what you owe back. Something like that. And I only say that because of this page energy. And pages, again, for those where we talked about in the beginning, they do talk about children. But page in terms of tarot overall just talks about a novice energy, an immature or unaware energy. Not that it's about being smart, but it's like you just haven't experienced it, so you don't know any better. You know what I mean? And it's not to say give anybody a pass, totally. But there is sort of like this, well, I didn't know, so I did it anyway. Or I didn't think to ask those questions. I didn't know to look for this information in the documents, but I signed the paperwork anyway. You know, the Fool doesn't look back. This energy of the Fool is, as you can see, you know, a lot of action, not a lot of forethought. Because I mean, she's rushing along and she looks happy to be doing so, but what's on her hands? Like, she's got rubber gloves on her hands. Like, why are you leaving the house like that, Mary? Leave those gloves behind. But she's, you know, flying by the seat of her pants and not really thinking things through. And so somebody here, in some cases, very literally has buyer's remorse, right? In less literal terms and more abstract terms, somebody made a terrible judgment call at an early stage of their life. Page of Pentacles. So years ago, months ago, somebody did something that they now are like, well, that's not good. And they're sort of paying the price for it, because judgment often, I mean, kind of looking at the picture, right? It's like this woman who's essentially agonizing over the numbers on the scale. So presumably, I mean, let's say she had like, you know, some pretty hefty steak dinners for the past several weeks or months of her life. I mean, assuming this person doesn't have the fastest metabolism in the world, they're going to put on a couple of pounds, right? And I'm not fat shaming anybody. I'm clearly in no position to do so. But there's something here where somebody indulged in something, eating badly, just as an example because of what's on the card. And I think you'd be able to get the analogy anyway. Somebody has indulged in a lot of overeating, like I eat whatever I want, lots of pasta, cake and cookies for dessert every night, da-da-da-da-da. And then after a week or so, or even longer than that, you go step on the scale, you're going to see some gains. You're going to see that number go up. So there's like this, I enjoyed it at the time. I loved all the pasta, I loved all the breadsticks, I loved all the cookies and the pies and everything like that. But now I'm not in a good spot. And for some, it could literally be related to your health at a younger age. So maybe back in the day, you know, your college age, you know, your college heydays, maybe you were doing a lot of drugs. Maybe you're doing a lot of alcohol. Maybe you were engaging in a lot of unprotected sex. And now those chickens are coming home to roost. Oh, by the way, you now have a blocked artery in your chest because of everything that you were doing when you were 20 something. Do you get what I mean? And it's not a blame. This is just the trajectory of this story. Progressively through whatever actions and decisions you made at a previous time, you will now reap those, the chickens are coming home to roost. There are consequences with this judgment energy that someone is like really waking up to. Like, oh shit, I kind of made a boo-boo. Or they don't view it that way. They're kind of like, well, this is unfair. For like some. For some of you Geminis, if this is your story, for some of you Geminis, this is someone else you're dealing with. You're watching a friend go through this. This is your sister, your brother, your cousin, your husband, your wife. I don't care. But if it's you, some Geminis in this energy are very bratty. Very bratty about it. Whatever's transpiring. They are pitching a fit over their own actions. But that's not for all of you, okay? So don't take it if it's not you. If you know that you made some bad investments or you made some questionable choices at a previous date in your life, and the chickens have come home to roost, and you're looking at your life, or you're looking at an aspect of your life, and you're like, well, that is a direct correlation to what I did. Perfect. You know, awareness and accountability, I'm here for it. But there's a group of Geminis or somebody in this energy who is like, I didn't do anything wrong. What the hell you mean? Literally. Yanking these pentacle plates off of the wall and saying, I didn't do anything wrong. What do you mean? Look at you. Look what you did. We can see it. You know? So let's get, you know, I did say it in more ways than one, that there are consequences coming out of this judgment card. So let's get further information on the judgment card. Let's clarify that. What's going on with the judgment card? Why is that showing up in Gemini's reading, please? Please show me. Buyer's remorse, heavy. And you know what? Okay, that's a heavy message. Heavy in the sense of, I was just talking with friends of mine about this today. I don't have children, but I have very strong opinions about children, and I probably shouldn't, because I'm not in any position to have too much of a strong opinion because I don't have kids. But this, I feel some people regret having their children. I don't shy away from that sentimentality or that perspective or that opinion, because I understand how people can get to that point. It's not to say it's okay. It's not to say to hell with kids. It's just, I get how people could have that sentiment no matter how, you know, we judge it. And that's what I feel here. Like somebody regrets having kids. Somebody might regret having kids because it ties them to something. It ties them to a situation that they don't want to be tied to. The fool. They would much rather be free. They would much rather be able to do what they want to do, but they're responsible for the kids or a kid or something like that. You know what I mean? So there's somebody who maybe had children at a young age and they haven't been able to, in their eyes, enjoy their life. They've had to sacrifice for the kids, and there's a little bit of resentment about it. I gotta be honest. But let's see what the judgment is. I'm not throwing shade towards that person because, I mean, I get it. And again, it's not like I hate kids or something. It's just, as a non-child having person, I can have a different perspective, you know? All right, so judgment. Why is the judgment here for Gemini? Clarify judgment, please. One more, please. Why is judgment here for Gemini? Okay, there he is. The guy I don't like. All right. I think all of these are being kept. So that's there. This is a side position. I don't know what it is, and I think this goes like that. Okay. What's this? Where are we going with this? Yeah. Queen of Pentacles in reverse, Six of Pentacles in reverse, and the come on now. Okay. So, definitely. Somebody here, when push comes to shove, there's somebody who's just like really incapable, and they're not what they appeared to be. They're not who they said they were. It's a disappointment to possibly the person facing judgment. They might be disappointed in themselves, and or there are people surrounding the person who's being judged who are disappointed, right? Man, that's terrible. All right, so Queen of Pentacles reverse, Six of Pentacles reverse, the Tower. Pentacles, again, heavy earth energy. You could be dealing with an earth sign, or you have earth placements in your chart of significance. Take it all with a grain of salt. And then the Tower, oh, yeah, Tower is a secondary major for Aries, but then also sometimes associated with Scorpio. So that's 2 for Scorpio. And this is a half and half. Like, you've got 3 major arcanas and 3 pentacles energies. Maybe that's like a little bit of a nod towards the duality of Gemini, half and half, you know what I mean? Anyway, I feel legit, and this doesn't have to be you, Gemini. This could be your mother or your father or something, but there's someone in a domestic space, Queen of Pentacles, you know, almost like a domestic goddess, or at least, you know, the head honcho in a domestic space. And it doesn't have to be an earth sign, does not have to be a woman, okay? But there's somebody who is just not showing up right now in the greatest capacity in a domestic space, or in a place of nurturing, in a place of being supportive, being, you know, that shoulder to cry on, or that provider. You know, there's just someone who's not doing that job well. And again, like I said before these cards came out here, it could be very specifically somebody who, for all intents and purposes, regrets becoming a parent. Whether that was yesterday, whether that was, you know, 20 years ago, like the day they became a parent, their journey to this point started. Do you get what I mean? This person, I think, maybe for a while, if it's not if it's not a parent, a recent parent, if this is someone who has regrets of becoming a parent like 20 years ago, for a while, maybe they were able to do what they had to do, take care of the family, put food on the table, that kind of stuff. As of late, that role has diminished, or their enthusiasm, their commitment, their willingness to do it has just gone down the tubes. Now that, interesting. That could have been because of poor choices again. So remember I said earlier about like college days, and like someone now health-wise is possibly suffering because they were partying hard when they were in college. Like the reverse could be happening. Somebody is doing that now, and it all of a sudden is causing this upheaval, Tower, ooh, woo, oh, I just realized that. Yeah, it's causing a lot of screwed up things to go wrong right now. So you could have had a parent who was straight lace, you know, for your entire upbringing, right? You could be like, you know, 38 years old or something like that. And your entire life, your mom, your dad, or whoever in your family, they were just a solid rock. They were dependable, all that stuff. Now, all of a sudden, they take to drinking. Now, all of a sudden, they're, unfortunately, as is it's an epidemic here in the States and possibly in other countries too. They're addicted to opioids. And maybe it's not their fault. You know, I feel in some cases here, it's not the fault of the person. It is what happened in the situation. Meaning, a lot of times in those opioid addiction stories, you have a person who, through their hard work and dedication to their job, to their family, to being a good member of society, they overwork their body, right? These stories happen all the time. And they go get prescribed the pills, the opioids, and then they become addicted. And it was, and again, this, in some of your cases, this person, they were on the straight and narrow their entire life. It took them to get to be 50 something years old, 60 something years old to become an addict. And that's a hell of a story. And it's not for everybody, but I hope you can pick those pieces out, because that's what, I'm not laughing at your story. I'm laughing at, excuse me, that phrasing in this card specifically. Because I don't like this card. I think it's ugly. I don't like this card either. I think it's ugly. And I usually mention in this Six of Pentacles how that dish of treats just does not look appealing at all. Like with the, what do you call it? The candy corn, and it's like a piece of pie and a brownie. And so what did I just say? Pick those pieces out. In the story, pick those pieces out. You know, take what resonates, leave what doesn't. Anyway, so that was just funny to me, because it's how me and my guides vibe. But so somebody wasn't able to, with the Six of Pentacles in reverse, give fairly, give in kind in the situation. They were not able to reciprocate what was given and received. You know what I mean? It became imbalanced, or it is imbalanced now, and the judgment is pending. In some of your cases, the judgment is pending because the Tower, in some of your cases, has yet to really show up. Again, someone might be facing a judge or some type of legal ramification because of foolish deeds when they were younger, or foolish deeds regarding their children, something like that. You know, clearly you're all having a nuanced, specific situation to your life. But regardless, this is not looking good. It's really not. And I have a lot of sympathy here. I have a lot of empathy here, because not all people who are in this position of being judged are bad people. Some of them are. Like, bad people in the sense of, like, they did bad actions, they meant their bad actions, or they did their bad actions, or foolish actions, or foolish decisions, foolish investments, and they didn't think of the consequences, and so it's kind of like reckless, right? So when you're reckless and you are held to account, you must suffer or face the consequences. That makes sense, right? You should have thought better about what you decided to do. In some cases, someone was on a few were on the straight and narrow, they never put a foot out of line, that kind of stuff, and yet they're still going to be judged. And they're going to face some type of Tower moment. So it's all, take it all with a grain of salt. You know your story better than I do. Let's get, and oh, by the way, this card, I did say it's ugly, just so you can see it. Isn't that gross? Like, what kind of freaking cake is that? It's very disgusting looking. Anyway, let's get a card of advice for Gemini, and then we're going to wrap this up. So what's the advice for Gemini in this situation? Please show me the advice for Gemini in this situation. I wish you the best of luck, Gemini. I really do, because some of you, this is like really, 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 really crappy. And it's not even your fault. Some of you, like, you're dealing with the person who's being judged. You're not even being judged yourself. It's somebody else, But what's the card of advice for Gemini in this situation? Please show me. Ten of Cups. Interesting. In some of your cases, very, very cliched and possibly an ineffectual way of saying it, but some of you got to keep hope alive. I do feel for some of you there is a potential for things to work out, or there's like some silver lining here, and it might be a little bit of a struggle, it might be a little bit of a stretch to find it, but I would encourage you to do that. In other your cases, this Ten of Cups visually is coming through as a visual confirmation to what I was saying. Like, somebody is overindulging with the alcohol or the drugs. Somebody is really looking to enjoy the high life and nothing else. And they've shucked their responsibilities. They've turned their back on the people that need them most or that depend on them, and they're only acting in their own best interest, or they're only wishing to fulfill their dreams and their fantasies and all that kind of stuff. And so if this was about someone being committed to a business deal or some type of professional relationship, or even a romantic or familial relationship, whatever, they're like turning their back on it. They only want to enjoy themselves. And if I'm honest, It probably doesn't seem that way, but whoever this person is like very hurt. They're very damaged. They're very damaged. Even though possibly it looks like they're living their best life, it looks like they're just, laughing it up. On the inside, they're incredibly broken. Okay? Gemini, that's your reading for mid-February. If this reading resonated with you, if you liked it, make sure you like, share, subscribe, and comment. Doing all that stuff will keep me circulating around here in the YouTube algorithms, and I would greatly appreciate that type of support. So help your girl out if you so choose. Gemini, I'll be back soon to do your March readings. Until then, I thank you guys so much for watching. Take care.